start to brace yourself a little bit for disappointment.
All right, guys, it looks like the UFC is canceling UFC 303. From what I can see here, they have removed their pay-per-view ads for this fight. They have removed all UFC 303 Conor McGregor related content from their YouTube page. I even did a scroll. I wanted to see if this was legit. I looked for the last 3 to 4 weeks. There is no Conor McGregor UFC 303 promos at all. You mean to tell me the UFC is not promoting their star fighter, Conor McGregor, their pay-per-view milk money cow? Come on, man. Something is up here. This fight might be getting canceled. I also heard the pre-order has been canceled. You can no longer pre-order the pay-per-view, and there's no more ads, no more pay-per-view, promos for this fight. Something's going on, guys. I mean, he was just partying in Ireland a couple days ago, so I honestly don't see it happening, and neither do some of these fighters here.
If I can let this breathe for just a second, but I had a few thoughts on a personal experience, which was, oh no, is the fight in jeopardy? That was my first thought. But you know what, Daniel? All we can do is guess. We've been given no information from either side. I've reached out to my contacts at the UFC, in the press, Chandler's side, McGregor's side. The only one that's even getting back to me is Chandler's side to let me know they don't know anything, and there's no comment on the other side. Now, the reason I tell you that is in that situation of the UFC canceling a press conference, we now have every possible angle on the table, but it has now been revealed, if this is accurate, by the way, it's a change, but if this is accurate, that Conor's the one that canceled it. And if we're just making guesses, and that's an accurate statement that Conor canceled it, it does eliminate a few of your guesses. For example, I don't think the fight is in jeopardy. I don't think that a press release is going to give you some bad news followed by the worst news. I think they'd put a press release out in reverse. The fight is canceled. And then at the very bottom, subsequently, press conference is off. I'm just sharing for you, like, from what I have right now, I kind of don't agree with a lot of the speculation, partner. I think perhaps Conor McGregor, for the first time ever, is starting to focus. People love to use that word. They talk about focus. I don't know if people know what that means. It means you say no a lot more than you used to. You're looking at one thing and you're telling people no when you're getting these calls. And don't forget, as we're looking at the clues, there's one more big one, which is Conor did not just cancel the Ireland press conference. He canceled all media that's already been agreed to leading up to this contest, which makes me think quite possibly our Irish star is starting to focus.
You're doing it again, man. You're doing it again. I felt, and it was proven right the first time. So it's like, you're doing it again. I told you get so excited and you just believe and you believe and you believe. And I tell you to stop doing that to yourself because eventually it's going to smack you in the face. Listen,
it's
man,
a tell.
I will let me be your friend and tell you, start to brace yourself a little bit for disappointment. This is a big deal. Look, I have reached out to many in the organization to try to find out what happened. And when everybody's tight-lipped as they are right now, to me, that tells me it's a little worrisome. Chael, I watched Charlie, our guy at ESPN, leave Newark on Saturday morning to fly to Dublin, him and Ray. They're already there. They're in Dublin. I watched Lene Breckenridge, who is the head of PR at the UFC, as I'm going to the back of the arena to talk to Islam Makhachev, fully dressed to get on the plane to fly to Dublin, Ireland for this presser. When did they get the news that this was not happening? It had to be after 1 a.m. on Saturday because we were still getting done with the pay-per-view. She clearly did not know that this was canceled at 1 a.m. on Saturday night. She was on her way to the airport or to the private plane, how they travel. Chael, I feel it's a big deal. I feel it's a little worrisome, and I'm glad that you have your rose-colored glasses on. But I don't know if maybe you should kind of shine them up a little bit and start looking a little more clearly.
You don't dance till you're in the end zone.
Wait, the fight's still on, though. The fight's still on.
I understand, but you're not in the end zone until you walk into the octagon. That's when you're in the end zone. Then you're like, okay, we had, at that point, it's 6 weeks. Now we got, like, I think it's 4 weeks maybe. Yeah, I'm not 100% it's happening.
Are you concerned that the fight won't happen?
I would say you are lying if you don't have at least a little bit of concern.
I've got a little bit of hesitancy, if I'm being honest. It's not good. But Conor did say, in consultation with the UFC today, his press conference was canceled due to a series of obstacles outside of our control. I apologize to my Irish fans and fans around the world for the inconvenience and appreciate all your passion and support. I cannot wait to put on the greatest all-time show in the Octagon.
That was a what do they call it? A PR person. That was a PR person.
Conor wrote that, no?
You
don't think so?
Come on, man. So, I mean, there's people on Twitter talking about Conor and maybe trying to get more money in the UFC or contract difficulties. I could first see that happening. You know, one thing, though, I wanted to ask you about in relation to this was there was one time in my career where I didn't fight for it. Wasn't by my choosing. It was you won championships was going slow, and I think it was a year and 2 months, right? And when I got back in the cage, it felt just a little different. It felt like I haven't done this lately. And then there was 2 times, Bellator in the tournament. I fought 3 times in 3 months, and then my last year in 1, and then in UFC, I fought 3 times in 5 months in both cases, I believe 5 or 6. It was like I fought very rapidly. And it's like when you're fighting very rapidly, there's just such a level of comfort. It's like, I just did this.
Goodness.
Let's do this again. Right?
It's the best. It's the best. 2015, when I fought 3 times and I won the belt and defended the belt.
Yes.
I was great. I had no nerves. I took 9 months off and then fought Anderson Silva in July, and I was scared. I was literally I was in the damn back feeling nervousness like I hadn't felt in years. It was crazy.
It just feels like a little different. It's like, wait, I'm going to go do unarmed combat with this man in the octagon. Like, that's kind of weird. Is this really what I do for a living? This is kind of a strange living, you know?
I'm telling you, bro. It's the weirdest thing. You think maybe that's a little bit of part of Conor going, I don't know.
It's like, you know, he showed videos of him out partying the last 2 weekends, both of them, right? He hasn't fought now. It's going to be very close to 3 years. That's a long time. And, you know, there's the other feeling. It's like, I know this happened to me once, and it was earlier, and I had a little injury that made me take some time off, and I ended up winning the fight, so it was no big deal. But I wasn't where I wanted to be in the training camp. Like in the training camp, you kind of know what it feels like. At least for me, I always kind of started slow, working on new things. And then, you know, maybe like 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, everything just started clicking, right? It starts clicking. You feel good. And you're like, I'm on the money. I'm ready to rumble. And there was one time where it didn't, and it like makes you nervous. You're like, damn, like, oh, am I going to suck? Like, you know, I took a couple weeks off because of the injury and things weren't clicking right. And it made me a little nervous. Dude. So it's like, could it be that also?
There's a lot of reasons why. But on the flip side of that, I was terrified and I had all kinds of stuff going on personally, injuries when I fought Dan Henderson, and I fought the best fight of my life. Like you just never know what happens when that octagon door closes. I think we'll get some clarity on the Conor McGregor situation in the upcoming days.